Chapter number 3, discovering your executive presence. Hi, this is Ben. Yeah, I'm on my way. Yes. Okay, bye. Hey, sorry, I'm in front of the camera. Oh, yes, I'm present here. Hang on a minute. Have you ever been in a speech and presentation where you're looking at the speaker? He seems physically down here, but he's kind of distracted. He may be thinking of what's next to say, he may be thinking about his wife, he may be thinking about his holiday in Hawaii. Do you really appreciate all of this? The problem with a lot of speakers and presenters is they are fundamentally not present in the here and now. And if you look at the word present, present, there's actually 3 different definitions. The first and the most important definition, which I would say, is being present. Being present in the here and now, meaning that your heart, your mind, your intentions are all aligned in a straight line to the audience, and you're here to serve. The second definition is what we call as present. To present is really to deliver a message. And last but not least, one of my favorite definitions of present is also spelled as and pronounced as present. Giving your best presence in a stage and a platform is the best kind of present you can give to all audience, because your audience wants to always see the best version of yourself here. So there is nothing as rewarding as being on stage, on the platform, where you know that your audience are getting the full attention, the full exposure, and the full presence of yourself. And I know it is a struggle, I know it is a pain, because sometimes when you're giving a speech and presentation, there's just 1,000,001 things in your mind. You're thinking of, what's the next thing to say, you're thinking of a plan B if your joke falls flat, you're thinking of how to end. But having this mindset of presence is one of the biggest challenges that a lot of speakers and presenters face. So I'm going to give you and share with you a tip of 2. One of the best ways to really maintain presence is 1, to appreciate silence. So when and only when appropriate during your speech and presentation, can you then indulge in a few pauses and deliberate pauses? This is when I would advise and I would encourage my clients to look at your speech and presentation and find out where are the moments where you can put on strategic pauses. You could put a strategic pause after you set up a context. You can put a strategic pause after you deliver your key points. But the key thing here is to take a pause. And when you pause, you unconsciously create a silence. And silence is deafening. When there's silence, your audience will unconsciously and uncontrollably put aside all their devices and look at you. And this is where, you also be present to what's in the surrounding. Second tip in terms of discovering your executive presence is really, as a speaker and presenter, are you comfortable and being in a state of flow? A state of flow is where you're speaking, you're presenting, things may happen. And this happened last month when I was delivering an engagement with a financial advisory firm. I was talking about being prepared for unforeseen circumstances in your presentation. And guess what? The lights in the ballroom totally went off. Some of the craziest things happened. So the lights were off, and I could have 2 choices. One, I could be totally frustrated and flustered, and I could scold my event organizers. Why didn't you do your lights check, your sound check? Why do you put me in such a spot? How are the speakers going to see my handsome face? That could be point number 1 or choice number 1. But there could be choice number 2, which is really, if things happen, flow with it. And this could only happen when you're present and you're flowing with the circumstances. So this was what I did. I said, well, things could really happen. Like the lights falling on you. And this is how speakers and presenters may face when things do not go on their way. They're in a sense of darkness, they're unaware of what's next, they have a lot of insecurities, but most importantly, when you know that you're here, not just to expose yourself, not just to impress people, but to express your true intentions, whether in darkness or in light, people will still hear you. And that was when the audience gave me a spontaneous round of applause. So those are your 2 tips. 1, to be really present, really be in the here and now. Think of how you're going to present your best presence, being in the here and now, as a present to your audience. And secondly, always being in a state of flow. So not to be worried about how your audiences think, not to be worried about how all the background, all the things that could go wrong will go wrong, because according to Murphy's Law, they would go wrong. But most importantly, being there to serve your audience, being in a state of flow. And when you achieve these 2 points, you can then be in a state of flow. You can then move and dance along with your audience. I hope you've gained a tip or two about public speaking or presenting in public through this video series. If you're looking for more tips, strategies, framework, checklists, don't forget to check out my book, or if you want more resources on public speaking, or even to find out what it takes to work with me, click on the link below and you'll find out all the information you need right here, right now.